spreadsheets. And so I'm going to let you can do both, Cameron. Of all people, you can do both, but I'm going to let you do the design side because that's the weak area for me, and really help today with all the attendees who are here to find out what they need to plan for 2025. And then I'll work into some profitability strategies for 2025. We've got a lot of Curate users. I know we got some people that aren't Curate users. We're going to be talking about the general principles for 2025 that we're looking at. And very specifically, we're going to be going over the way that a lot of tools are built to look at how to actually take what we're putting today and saying today as a principle. How do you take that into your Curate account? How do you make that effective within that space? And so I'm excited about that because there's some really powerful stuff. We've been building some things for quite a while, and we're going to show you what these tools and how to actually implement these in a tool like Curate. Many of you, you're on our classic platform and you haven't seen the new interface yet, or you're about to be moved over to the new interface. All of this is going to be in the new interface, and it's a really, really exciting time. So we'll go through that. And then we'll look at those, ask about those to help you grow, and then we'll jump into a Q&A for Cameron or I. So with that said, I'm going to throw this over to Cameron. Welcome. Thank you for being here, and I'll let you take over with I think you've got a slideshow. I'll let you take over with that.
Awesome. Thanks, Ryan. I'm sorry, I wasn't 100% clear that we were doing trends, although I can pull up the trends report that we did for 2025. But the deck that I prepared is a little bit off script from that, so I may blend both if that's okay with you.
It's perfect. Well, and I think the thing that you and I do talk about ties with the bigger theme today, which is profitability, right? Is how do we think as a company about profitability? But I would love if you could share with everybody watching that I saw the link you sent me of your trends. Even if you just share the link and share your screen, I think it'd be really cool for them to be able to see.
Cool. Well, hi, everyone. I'm Cameron. I'm the CEO and founder of Poppy. We are a startup in the wedding floral world. If you haven't heard of us, I have a deck where I'll show a little bit more about what we do and how florists work with us, but wanted to first highlight that every year we publish a trends report. You can navigate to it from our website, so poppyflowers.com, scroll all the way to the bottom, and in the footer, you'll see our trends report. So a lot of this is stuff that you probably have already seen in your own businesses, but things that we sort of forecast are going to be trending in 2025 based on what we saw last year and orders that we're seeing coming in for this year. So one is a soft pop. So we've really focused on blue delphinium and larkspur. Next you've probably seen a lot of this, fruit on the table, cut fruit integrated into your table arrangements. And then moving sort of out of the floral realm into the fashion realm, patterns on veils and wedding gowns, especially floral patterns. And then more architectural and sort of stylized designs that are less whimsical and a little bit more structured. Finally, this is a trend that we were seeing last year that's really persisting is film photography instead of digital. And then as always, you got to throw in the pets for anything internet related, but seeing more and more dogs as part of the weddings. And then really a lot of creativity around wearables, in particular, the little pocket square boutonnieres. And then, as always, trending towards sustainability. So one of the things we implemented this year were cardboard boutonniere and corsage boxes. We're pledging to move toward a foam-free business for ourselves. And just for context, we delivered about 2,500 weddings this year, and we're forecasting to do more in 2025. So we feel like we really have an opportunity to sort of set a standard in the industry. So these are our trends for 2025. You can explore more and read more about them on our website. I am going to give a little bit of an overview. Can you see this cover slide? Okay. Of Poppy very quickly. Ryan, feel free to pull me off stage if I go over. But a little bit of context on Poppy and sort of segueing into Ryan's point around profitability, the way that florists make money with Poppy to sort of add to your bottom line and supplement to existing revenue streams. So just as background, I mentioned this, but Poppy is a network of now 1,000 florists have joined our network. We have designed and installed over 4,100 weddings across the country, and we've paid designers $2.5 million since we launched. There's two ways that you can add to your business's bottom line working with Poppy. One is referring leads that aren't a fit for your business. So this is what Ryan and I really kind of was circling around when he invited me on this webinar. This is a new concept that we launched in October, where when a lead comes into your business, and I'll get into the weeds a little bit more on why you would want to refer a lead to Poppy instead of taking them on yourself, you can earn a 10% commission when they book with Poppy. On the other end of sort of the customer journey, you can also earn effectively freelancing for Poppy from your studio, shop, or home. So why would you refer a client to us? One, a lot of florists who have joined our program, this referral program, refer clients to us when they're not meeting their order minimum. And I know that a lot of Curate clients have been in the market for a while, have really earned the right to set an order minimum for their brand. And so when an inquiry comes to you that doesn't meet your budget minimum, feel free to send them to us. If they're inquiring, but they're not in your service area, or they don't have the budget to travel you, we've seen designers refer leads to us because the inquiry doesn't match the style that they're trying to build in their portfolio. If you're already booked for that date, if you want to do other parts of your business, maybe you have a retail business that you want to focus on during that month, or there's a florist that we work with who is starting to do floral cruises, and she referred a lead to us because they inquired for the weekend that she's on her floral cruise. Or if you're just really good at marketing and you're generating too many leads and you don't have the bandwidth to service them. On the other end of the spectrum, the 1,000 florists that have joined, most of those have joined because they're interested in freelancing for Poppy. And really, there's sort of a wide spectrum of florists that might want to do this. One is you're building up your own business and maybe you're new to the market. You've only been working in flowers for a few years and you're wanting to fill your calendar and get into venues you might not have otherwise gotten into. Poppy is a great partner for you. Or we work with florists who've been operating for 15, 20, 25 years, and they're looking for a few weekends a year to just be easy because we take care of everything. We acquire the customer, we write the recipes, we place the orders, we ship the flowers and the hard goods to your door, and all you have to do is arrange and deliver and install at the venue. So we have a little calculator on our website that kind of shows what the different earning opportunities would be. If you navigate to this For Florist page, you can get some more detail and then start to play around with these numbers. Like if you referred 5 couples and you designed for 2 weddings, with an average order value of $5,000, you could be adding $4,500 a month to your bottom line. And so here's just an overview of what it means to work with Poppy. You would get 10% for every couple that you refer who books with us, right of first refusal to actually do the wedding as the designer. We're creating some co-branded digital experiences for you and your leads, providing social media templates. You can track all of this in our designer portal, and you get your own personal referral URL as an affiliate or a partner of Poppy. This is just a little bit of what the back end looks like. So you can track your pending referrals, how much you've been paid, what's coming down the pipeline. And then here's just a little preview of what the co-branded sort of digital experience looks like. So you can feature your portfolio and then send leads directly into the pipeline through your own personal page. And then when the lead comes into our platform, you can see that we have the ability to sort of co-brand with your business, so it feels like a cohesive customer experience. So those are the 2 ways that florists can work with Poppy to add to their bottom line. If you're interested, feel free to email me, Cameron@poppyflowers.com. The steps are pretty easy. You sign up. We have a contract for both the referral, commercial relationship, and designing with us. And then you just start making referrals and accepting jobs.
Yeah, that's awesome. And Cameron, the reason I really love this concept, I ran the numbers with you the other day of my wife and my company. You know, my wife with our company is very different than Curate. We didn't intend to scale this up to millions and billions of dollars. You know, for us, it was about providing our own lifestyle. And when you run the numbers, we generally did 150 to 200,000 in revenue on the typical year. But when you ran the numbers of what the owner actually gets of that after you take all the expenses and real estate and all of that, being able, I remember us going through that process of having a lead come in and us being like, oh, we've fallen in love with kind of what your vision is, but we can't do it. We can't afford to do it or we're out of town. Being able to have that way to be able to supplement when you compared with what we actually made, to be able to have a different stream of income coming in, was something that was a really cool thing. And knowing that you're actually helping out a client and creating a great experience for them too.
Well said.
Yeah. So with that said, what I'll do, I'll share my screen. I'm going to mention, I may pull up Poppy again. Cameron, you can hang out on here. You can turn off your video if you want. But I will mention Poppy again, because I do want to mention them as another point in this talk, but to talk a little bit about profitability strategies. Now, I'm going to be sharing my screen. And I'm probably going to be going between two different screens as we sort of move along here, to be able to talk about ways in 2025 that you can be able to be incredibly profitable and really have a mind on your profitability. And so obviously finding creative ways to use the tools that you already have is one of those, like we were just chatting with, when it comes to Poppy. But number one, the first thing on the first category I would love to share with y'all is looking at taking control of your pricing. This is so important. I don't have this listed, but just as a general point, once a year, you should go through all of your pricing on your florals and you should double check. Hey, are we making the money that we're needing to? Do we have those priced correctly? So that's I would say it's a given, but it's something that life gets busy and you forget to go back through and be like, let's double check our pricing on these things. But one of the things we've seen really powerfully, especially with Valentine's Day, Mother's Day coming up here, is using a dynamic markup profile to customize your pricing. And here's what I mean by that. Instead of saying, I always do a 3x markup with 2x on hard goods, saying, well, if it's Mother's Day, or if it's within a week of Mother's Day, I'm going to bump up my pricing dynamically to a 4x or to a 5x or whatever that is, to be able to cover for what you know will be a season of higher expenses. So for example, in Curate, I'll give you an example. This is our new platform, Curate, that I'll be showing you through. So for those of you who are big classic fans, so thankful that you're here. It's going to be a new user interface, but you don't have to learn a new software, right? It's the same great tool that you love. I'm going to get in here. And I want to show you, like, on this particular event, I have a markup profile that's right here. And depending on when this event happens, maybe I want to change that markup profile to a different profile. And something that we're super excited about within the new platform is the ability to populate the pricing dynamically based on that markup. So it looks at all of your floral library. Like if you have a listing of items or catalog items, like if you've got a bridal bouquet in your catalog and you pull that in, it will grab that markup profile and plug it directly onto there. And that's a really powerful thing that can give you advice on what you should be charging. Because you'll come in here and you'll see, you know, this bridal bouquet right here, and you'll be able to see, hey, I've got a $350 price, but based on this markup, I should be charging $453. So either I need to be cost conscious about what I'm investing in it, or I need to be pricing that more appropriately to this particular event. So that's one powerful thing, using dynamic pricing. Be willing to do it, even if you're still in Excel sheets. We got to get you out of Excel sheets. But if you are in Excel sheets for right now, make sure you're thinking about busy dates. If you've already got 5 events that weekend and you've never done a 6-event weekend, well, not saying don't do it, but you better be charging for it and bumping up the cost that it takes for somebody to take up that extra time and effort and the hiring that you're going to have to do as you're growing into that. The next thing, I love this idea. I stole this from Emily at All Grand Events. I was chatting with her last year, and she gave this idea of setting the base cost at the highest that you've ever paid for that floral. So when you're in Curate and you have a recipe in here and you've got a particular price, a cost on this, instead of putting this at your average cost, set this at the highest cost you've ever paid. And the reason that is so powerful is because, unless, you know, feel free to leave a comment in the comment section if any of you have a crystal ball, but for the most part, nobody has a crystal ball. And you can't know the pricing moving forward 9 months from now. And when there's a hurricane, I talked to one florist, she said, you know, there's an understanding of like when there's an Icelandic volcano, that disrupts European flight routes, which are bringing European florals over, which makes it more expensive, right? You can't predict that stuff. So, and as you have questions, feel free to plop that question in the Q&A portion. We've got one of our team members who's going to be answering questions about some of these strategies and some of the pieces in Curate. So feel free to raise your hand, but also feel free to throw a question in there. Once we get to the Q&A at the end, I'm going to pull it up and I'll give some feedback on what we're seeing with that as well. So that's a powerful part. Just get that base cost where you want that to be. We've got a couple different views in the new platform. We've got the order view, which is the more concatenated view. We've got the recipe view, which breaks out each of those recipes, but it gives you really easy ability for you to be able to have all of these pieces and to see the exact cost. And we've made it really easy in the new platform to pull in new items. And I know a lot of you are going to be super excited about this, but the important part about pulling in items directly from your catalog, I'm clicking import from catalog, but the important part of this is you're pulling that most up-to-date price in. So if you've been updating that price, like I told you to at the beginning of this call, get that 2025 costing in there. This actually pulls that pricing from your root catalog, which is really powerful. And so what ours does with this import from catalog, this actually highlights all the items that you currently in that event first before it gets down. You see I'm at the letter V here. These are all the things that are in my event. And then beneath that, when I get back to A, these are all the items that are throughout the event. But we have photos here for you to be able to search for the right color and the right shade from. We've got the ability for you to be able to categorize this organize this by categories, by tags. All of those pieces are built into here. So it makes it really simple for you to be able to find the things that are the most important and make sure that you've got the right cost that's adding to that markup profile that you have. Next thing we really want to encourage you to is manage this. Find a way to be able to look throughout the experience that you have from the time the customer comes in all the way till you're picking up the footed vases at the caramel room at 1 a.m. Find every opportunity to ask, are we investing the right amount of money in that experience, in that expense within our company? So one way to do that is to eliminate paying credit card fees. You can do this efficiently and it will increase profitability. And what do I mean by that? How do I eliminate credit card fees? Something that we have released in the new Curate is a built-in process for managing. So when I go in to make a payment with our new Curate Pay, you actually have the ability here to have a processor fee added onto here. And get this, for those of you who love accounting, and I think raise your hand if you love accounting, but I think there's probably two of you. I don't love accounting. My wife doesn't love it. Nobody loved accounting in our business. But there's some accountants out there. There's actually a good number of accountants who are florists. One of the beautiful parts about this system with the new Curate payments is when you get a payment for $964.11, that's what hits your bank account. It's not some version of that. It doesn't have 2.9% pull out. I know there's a lot of softwares out there that don't just charge you 2.9%. They charge you an added fee on top of every payment. We went the opposite way. Instead of adding a fee for using our software, we actually have completely eliminated it because Curate takes care of the processing fees here. And on your side, you get a really seamless accounting experience for that. So it's a big thing. Get rid of those credit card fees as best as you can. I know some states, there's some legal limitations for that. We support both ways that people work, but it is a really powerful tool for you. Another thing that we have that I'm so excited about is in the new platform is calculated properties. And here's what I mean by calculated property. This is something that within an event, you want to, let's say, create a budget around something. So create a budget. I actually took this from somebody who they were using another software, but they were just doing this on the side. And what they did was they created, for every one of their proposals, they created calculations about what they could spend, right? So they said, I want to do 40% of my floral and greenery, and that's my floral spend budget. And they used the math just from the invoice to give them a guidance of what they should be spending. One person I talked with, they literally had a gas fee. And they just did, I want 1% or 0.5% of the overall budget is what I'm budgeting and looking at for the gas fee for this particular event. And so that could be an internal labor budget. This could be, hey, let me figure out what I need to be spending on labor. This could be even things like if some of you have to deal with venue commissions and you need to run that calculation to know what am I budgeting and am I charging the right amount to the client. Our software automates that process so you can be able to plug in whatever that percentage is And even if you're not using our software, use an Excel sheet, but find an opportunity to create these little budgets compared to the overall revenue. Either in our software, you can do like sections like, hey, I need floral and greenery, or in a lot of tools, maybe you can do the overall invoice amount. But that budget is so, so important. Another thing is strong order management. It amazes me the people who have, whether you're using a software or not, we've had so many people who've used Curate for 10 years and they're like, yeah, I need to start using my, really using that shopping list tool, really using the game plan tool. You've got to, in 2025, if you aren't already doing this, you've got to double down on this and say, all right, let's find a way to make sure we're ordering accurately. And so in Curate, we have released functionality that some of our top users have been begging us for, but that's the ability to be able to pull together all the different events for a particular date. So in this case, we got one event, we pull this event in here, and then we can start creating multiple purchase orders associated with this event. So right now I'm looking at my baby's breath right here, and I've got this in 2 of my different orders. One of the things that Sweetwood Village specifically has been begging us for, and we're finally to that point. I talked with Lauren about a month ago and I asked her feedback on this before we built this, but she said, I really need a strong way to be able to say, hey, let's say one wholesaler can't provide it on a particular date and I need to move that to a different order. So when she gave us the dynamics of it, we worked with her for the past few months to figure this out. We've created really seamless ways to do purchase order management, where if the baby's breath is not going to come in on purchase order number 5, and you can name this whatever you want to, Mayish order, DV wholesale order, you can be able to say, you know what, I'm only getting 25 of those in there, but you know what, I don't have enough of these right here, and it's turning red. So it can double check the math here to be able to make sure that you have a PU that's just a purchase unit. You've got enough of those and that you're actually delivering the right amount, but not over ordering as well, because all of this data here is pulling from that event. So this is a really, really important thing is managing those purchase orders and making sure. I talk to way too many florists, and y'all have to all talk to them. It might be you as well, where they say, well, we ordered a little bit extra, but let's just say it's our marketing budget, and you're really filling up those bouquets and those arrangements, which it looks great, it looks phenomenal. Or else you're a really good neighbor and you're bringing florals back home to your neighbor and you're like, hey, I got you this bucket of, Japanese ranunculus. It's like that's a pretty expensive bucket that you just handed over to that neighbor. You're a great neighbor, but you got to make sure you're sharpening up that experience for them. Another thing that I know I've actually just looked at the list of people on this call. There's a few people that are going to be very, very excited about this. In the beginning of February, we're going to be launching a brand new ACH payment option as a part of that Curate payments I talked about. People have asked for this for so many years. And so we're at the point it's being built right now. We're going to be releasing it in February, and it's going to make a big, big impact for you to be able to have a lower percentage fee. I think we ended up just matching what like a tool like Square does for like a 1% fee on the ACH. And you can also even hand that fee off to the customer. So it creates a more cost-efficient way for that customer to be able to buy, but you aren't eating that fee, and it's actually a lower cost for them. But if they've got an Amex card and they want to use the Amex card, they can still use it using Curate payments because maybe they need some honeymoon points. But it's totally an option. So managing your expenses, huge thing. Another thing that we're excited about is we're going to be rolling out Curate 101. And this is a training program that really gives your team the ability to be educated on the best tools in Curate. So many times, if you are the owner of a company, you are running side to side, and you've got a team member that you want to use tools and to be helping and to learning how to use them, but maybe you don't have the time to be able to teach them all of those pieces. One of the things that we're excited about is we're going to be rolling this out that gives basic training on our software. And it's not just about our software, but it's about the principles of running a floral company in 2025. What are the tools that are available? How can I use a tool that can do this? And it can be able to manage all of these little pieces in my company. So that's going to be something that we're going to be releasing, but it's going to be comprehensive training for your staff. And it's going to make sure we're even doing a certification program where they can literally pass a certification. When you have a new employee come on, new employees make mistakes. Mistakes cost money, and that's okay because you're training and you're growing this person. But if you can preemptively make an impact there, it is so valuable. And a couple plus ones. The Poppy referral program, we just shared a little bit about that. Cameron shared about that, but that is a phenomenal thing. Look at your current pipeline. And if you can't help a customer tell it, for sure, refer them to a friend, for sure, help out a new florist who's starting out. But at the same time, ask that question. You paid money for those leads. So I'll get really candid with you here, really, really open. Back in the day, we paid a particular lead source online hundreds and thousands of dollars over the course of a year. And we had one legitimate lead. We had about 300, 400 leads come in, but we had one legitimate lead. We had to pay for all of that. It was, we just ate it. We just had to eat that cost but we didn't get anything. That lead, they didn't even close. We didn't even do a demo with them, but they were one legitimate lead. Had we had something like the Poppy referral program, that actually would have given us the ability to recoup some of those advertising costs that are just a part of business. So I'm excited about it. I think it's a very valuable thing. But the Curate referral program as well. This is a really powerful tool as well. We give away $500 for every person who signs up for our software. We are geared for established floral businesses, right? That's kind of the difference with Curate in the market. Is our big thing is we want to be able to help companies that are growing and that are and that's the direction that they're going. We just signed up somebody the other day. They were just starting their company, but in the conversation, you could tell they knew where they were going and they knew where they were investing things. And we help companies like that get up and going. So for every person that you refer, it's a $500 sign up bonus for us just to say thank you. I'd rather spend it with you than for us to go spend it with Google and hand it. Google has enough money. Let's find a way to be able to help out the industry. So if you can be able to promote Curate. Here's a quick thing. You can take a picture of it. I'm going to go on to another slide for our Q&A here in a moment. But this is a tool that you can definitely be able to lean on. With that said, I'm going to hop in for questions and answers. So would love to hop over to any questions we have right here. I saw that Cameron put in the webinar chat. I saw that she put her email. So definitely reach out to her. What other questions? Cameron, welcome back. Any questions from anyone in the audience for Cameron, for I? We'd love to be able to answer them. Cameron, while we're waiting on that, any thoughts, any of those pieces that I've talked about today that resonated, like in terms of that you're hearing from other florists as well, that they're really thinking about?
Yeah, I think the ACH versus credit card thing is a big one. Like we did a lot of work trying to renegotiate with Stripe and like didn't get that far. So I'd love for more of our customers to be using ACH instead of credit card. It really is like a pretty big opportunity to get margin back.
Yeah, absolutely. And it creates an easier experience for the customer. Like when if it is something that you are passing on the fee, it's not as bad, for them to be able to take it. Nobody likes doing checks nowadays, but it does make it a lot simpler. Yeah, we've partnered with Stripe, but it took us a year to get through that process. It was a long time. Which is funny. One of our investors is actually the co-founder of Square, Jim McKelvey, and so he doesn't give me too hard of a time about that. But for us, we do think there's a big opportunity here. Awesome. Let me go see if there's any other questions that are happening in here. Even any questions, if you have questions for Cameron, have questions about the Curate platform, the new platform, I'm glad to answer them. Here's the Q&A. There we go. Perfect. Helen asked, can this be used for a bank internationally? So it depends on the region. For at least the Curate implementation of this, there are some regions and areas that allow it. A lot of people in the Caribbean, a lot of countries in the Caribbean, I think are a little bit more limited, but we have people using it in the UK, in Canada, and Australia. So it can be used internationally, but it is something where it just depends on the country and the laws of that local country. Okay, in Bermuda, I'm going off my gut here, Helen, and I love you, but I don't think Bermuda is one of the supported countries in that. But I do have some idea. We do have some ideas for you. If you reach out to our team, we can give you some creative ideas on how to still get a lot of the benefits from it while using your platform. Yeah, great question. We did have someone who asked if the webinar was being recorded. It is being recorded. We'll make sure we get this sent out to everybody who's on in the process. Or who's on the call. Awesome. Well, Cameron, you and I have just done such a phenomenal job answering all of the questions in our talk, but we're excited you were able to come with us. We know we wanted to just give an opportunity to show you the opportunities, that exist in the industry for 2025. I'm excited about the year. We're seeing so many positive signs. 2020 obviously wrecked a lot of stuff. 2022 was a comeback, and then we had a little bit of a downward trend. We're seeing an upward trend amongst all of our customers, and we're excited and hopefully able to help you all see that as well. Thanks so much for being here today. Y'all have a great day.